304. We've managed to
304.
we're doing 4 extra shows so far, little by little.
It's not bad for 6 months. All right.
Well, we're in the 5th month. We're on the 4th show, so I guess
Fifth month, fourth show. Because
not too
technically,
bad.
well, yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think we're good.
All right.
Nope. Okay.
Set.
That's it. Yeah, final answer. Yep.
Okay. What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Making Geeks podcast for makers, families, and geeks. And we made it to episode 304.
We did.
Our goal was to do 1 a month. We're a little bit behind, but we're still putting out shows, so I guess we're going in the right direction.
I'll take it.
Me too. So, how are you guys doing? Other than hi here and there online, we haven't really talked a whole lot recently.
We haven't.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It has.
I'm on East Coast time, and at some point I passed both you guys going the westerly direction quite a bit, actually, to the point where I was 6 hours behind my normal time zone.
Well, you passed us twice, right?
I passed you twice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time traveling.
So, why did you pass us?
So my wife is, she has a new job. More like over the last 2 years, she hadn't got a new job, and it's in a sales-related role. And she was the top salesperson in her group, division, whatever. And she won a trip to Hawaii. And so for
That's
two
cool.
people, yeah. And so even better. And we're like, well, they had the option of we can like add days to it, like on the front or the back end. It was for 4 nights, and it sounded like 4 nights was a little bit too short to go all the way to Hawaii for just 4 nights.
No days, just 4 nights.
No days. Yeah, it was just nocturnal activities. We were like in a cryogenic chamber for the day. Ayo. And so we added 3 nights to the front end. Why am I getting sound effects from other things? That's annoying. Apologize. The trip was for Maui. We flew to Oahu for 3 nights, which for those that are not aware, that's where Honolulu is. And so we got a hotel in Honolulu for a couple nights, and we did some cool stuff. Very, like, if I could choose anywhere to have a maker meetup or like a geeky meetup, this would be the place, because we toured the Kaloa Ranch, which is the location that they filmed like a lot of Lost, and Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, different parts in Jurassic Park, and they have tours that they give you that you could sign up for. They're not free. And you can like basically they had a Jurassic Park tour, and so it was 3 hours long. You're in like the back of like a truck with like open, seating, and you just drive around this ranch. And the iconic green valley that is in the background of Jurassic Park when there's a stampede of dinosaurs and they're flocking this way, that is where they filmed it. And I was there. And they had like a big log that I guess was in the background. It was not the one that they used, but it's the same. It looks the same. And yeah, they had that. And then there's like the gyrosphere platform for Jurassic World was still there. They had like sets and stuff still built from different things. Like I think it was in, correct me, I don't remember what Jurassic World it was, but there was one they had like the Indominus Rex giant dinosaur of that movie, and he was like, they had a pin and he like scratched the wall they had the pen still there. It was like in a more jungly area, and they had like an overlook. Like, it was awesome. They had like dinosaur sculptures and like the containment pens that they had the velociraptors in, and they knew what they had, and they did a good job with it. And they even the tour guide had like a little iPad that she would bring up the different scenes before we got to the places. Like, oh, this is the scene, so people that weren't as familiar with it could get familiarized, get them like jazzed up or whatever. And there was like so many different filming locations within this. I mean, it's a huge place. It's like, by now I think it's like 4,000 to 5,000 acres or something crazy. And there's so many cool vistas. You just turn like 90 degrees the camera, and it's like a different backdrop than you previously were, like dramatically. One of them overlooks the ocean, like on one side, in one direction. And so we got all these pictures, and I had several people saying they look green screened because they're so fantastical, like behind us, that it looks fake. And just the way the lighting was too, like we were like lit in a weird way, where it had like a weird rim lighting.
Hawaii has that weird lighting at times.
It was so bizarre. And like I took some other pictures at one of our hotels, and there was like this arch window that I used as like a framing device, and it looked like something ChatGPT would create. I had a couple people ask me, like, seriously, thought I was lying about the whole trip. I'll share them on the Discord, but it was nuts. Not to go into all the details, that was the coolest part for me, was the Jurassic tour. I could have popped a chair and sat there like for hours, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that. I'll fast forward to the end. So Catherine's work, they know how to party apparently. They had multiple luau's. We had a, I'll do a little humble bragging because it's kind of fun, honestly. Multiple luau's. There was a snorkeling thing where I saw like, sea turtles like within arm's reach come up. So we're on the surface looking down for the sea turtles, and no one sees them. And then like they're like motioning like, oh, it's over here. We like paddle over there, still on the top, looking down, and we see like a big oval. And they're like, okay, at the bottom. We're like, okay, that's it. It's not even doing anything. You don't see anything but the oval. It's like a dark oval at the bottom. Okay. And then it starts moving, and it comes right up in front of me, and you're not allowed to touch them. It's against the law. They're like super protected, obviously. And it pops up, and it's like looking at us, and then it looks back down and looks at us and looks back down. It's hanging out with us. Like, what are you guys looking at? What is it? You guys see something cool? I don't know. And it stayed up there like paddling, just like chilling for like a minute or two, and then it goes back under. It was so cool. But the ultimate part of this, the last thing that we did at the end of one of the luau's, they're like, hey, you guys enjoy dessert? Yay! And there's like an MC kind of thing. And they had these guys come up to the stage. It looked like they could have been stunt dummies from like Maui and like Moana or something like that. They had like the traditional garb on, and they had like these big conch shells and torches, and they're like playing the conch shells, and they're like, all right, it's time for you guys to follow these people. We're like, okay. So there's like several hundred of us like following these people through this like serpentine like jungle path to this other facility, which is like an adjacent resort. And night had already fallen at this point, and we go into this hotel ballroom that is a place that none of us stayed at, and it was like set up to be like kind of like a prom almost. Like it's about the size of a senior prom venue, or like a gym or something. Not very big. And there was a stage, and there was a DJ playing music. And so we're like three people back from the front of the stage, and there was a DJ played music for far too long, because it became pretty apparent that like 30 minutes in, people were still like having fun, but it's like, okay, he kept alluding to something else that was going to happen, but whatever it wasn't ready yet. And we're like, ugh, okay. It was almost an hour and a half of this, and people were starting to get kind of irritated. And he was like, still, I mean, I started to feel bad for the guy, because it was clear he kept going like behind the stage, and they kept motioning at him to like keep going. Like we always have our hand signals, like for the people, for us, when we're communicating on camera, when we're trying to like give each other signals and let each other know like what's going to happen. It was getting to be kind of crazy. And then the lights go out, and then people start walking up onto the stage, or coming from the darkness of the stage, and it illuminates. and they started playing. It was Imagine Dragons. We had a private Imagine Dragons concert
Holy
for like an
cripes on
hour,
toast.
hour and a half. And I was like, what is happening right now? This is crazy. They flew them in from like Thailand. Apparently, they were just finishing their Asian tour, and Hawaii's on the way to the States. I guess they were heading back to the States, and that was a stop. I guess they got hung up somewhere. They said there was technical difficulties with something. They didn't elaborate. They could have been held up at customs for all we know, whatever. But they ended up showing up, and it was worth it. It was crazy. They sung all their hits within like, as much as they could jam in an hour. They were very entertaining. The sound sounded awesome. We were like 3 people from the front. People started being annoying, and that's usually my old concert attendee self that comes out. I get annoyed by the people. The people were the worst part at concerts, which is never a new thing, but I get less tolerant of it as I get older. So we ended up like leaving the front of the stage area, but we were only, a very short distance away. Like the back of the crowd was like across a school gym, which is, if even that far, it's very short. Like it was such a small venue. I can't elaborate on how cool it was. So yeah, if that doesn't make you jealous enough, I don't know what will, because it was pretty cool. But beyond that,
when this story first started, I thought it was just you and your wife in Hawaii doing all these things, but it was like a group.
It was a thing. Yeah, all the people that won the sales awards or whatever. I guess it's a common thing in the sales circles that they win like a sales club trip or whatever, and they go to different places. I don't know.
A lot of companies do stuff like that.
Yeah. Apparently, the company she works for has that kind of money, and I'm like, okay, that's new. We don't have that kind of money.
It's a good write-off for the company too.
It's a good. I mean, yeah. Apparently, their founder is literally a billionaire. Apparently, so that's kind of cool. Rightfully so. Anyways,
so Donovan, you want to follow that up?
Yeah. What have you been doing?
No. Mine is, I've been packing. That has been my life for the last several weeks, and doing house projects. How fun! Compared to Hawaii, my goodness. Yeah, that's all I have to report. I mean, honestly, from the last time that we talked, it has just been a process of packing and repacking and doing house projects, and we're coming down the line. My kid's last day of school is on Friday, and then we have final walkthrough with the renters a week after that, and then a week after that, my girls have their final ballet recital, and then 2 days after that, we're loading up a U-Haul and heading out of Oklahoma.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We've been talking about you moving for how many years now, and it's finally happening.
Yeah. So Oklahoma it's this weird vortex, and every single time that we've tried to move, something has always happened to like suck us back in and keep us here. And like honestly, up until about a couple days ago, there was always this thought in the forefront of my mind that, something's going to happen. I'm just waiting for something to happen and, to keep us here, because that's what always happens. But then as, more time went on, more stuff got packed up. We sold most all of our furniture. So we're sleeping on like mattresses on the floor, like our kitchen packed up, like everything's packed up. And today we had these huge storms come to Oklahoma, and they're like F4, F5 tornadoes in Tulsa, and softball size hail and all this other kind of stuff. All the doom and gloom that comes with weather forecasting in Oklahoma. And I was like, if this isn't it, then it's official. Like nothing else is going to happen, and we're leaving in less than 2 weeks. And the weather today turned out to be entertaining to watch, but nothing more than that. So I'm like, wow, this is legit. This is real. This is actually happening. And I think it's actually finally starting to sink in, like the reality of it. So
it's exciting.
Yeah.
How many attempts has it been of moving in various forms up until now?
I'd say about 10.
Ugh.
10.
Eesh.
Yeah.
I'm sure it feels good though.
Yeah. It feels something. It
Or
feels
surreal.
surreal.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
excited? Are you excited for a change?
No, yeah, I'm very excited. Like in a way, mentally I'm already there, which is hard. It's hard because I'm like, there's still so much that we have to do here, and so many house projects that still need to get done. I had to hire somebody to come and help finish the garage because we finally, after almost a year of dealing with it, got the roof and the leak situation taken care of. We had to have like 2 roofing companies come out and do stuff, and it's been a process. It's been a huge process that finally is done, and the garage looks like a really nice vaulted ceiling garage. It's not Zeldified, and it's not going to be Zeldified, which kind of hurts my heart a little bit. But it's done, and within a week from now, everything will be out of here, and the house will be done. And I took my girls to ballet this morning because they have ballet together on Monday nights, and my youngest went in first. And my oldest is like, "You need to watch this episode of Bluey," and I'm like, "What? Why do I need to watch Bluey? Like, are you trying to make me cry? What's going on here?" She's like, "No, you need to watch this episode of Bluey called The Sign." And I'm like, "Okay." I didn't finish it because I'm like, nope, nope, nope. I don't know if you know about Bluey or about The Sign, but for me in my life at this moment, that is not what I should be watching in the parking lot of my girls' ballet dance studio. So, needless to say, I've been busy.
Well, I think I probably have the most exciting, last 3 weeks compared to all of you. Getting over a chest infection, trying to get my students finished for the year, and I actually bought a ticket to go to my high school 30th reunion. So that's
Oh,
weird.
man.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never been to a high school reunion before. I won't ever go again. But 30 years, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Hold
Look forward
on.
to hearing
I'm
about
just
it.
not realizing that I don't know where you went to high school.
Southern California here in Covina,
Okay.
a city called Covina,
Okay.
about 25 miles east of downtown Los Angeles.
So far enough away to buy it. When you say buy a ticket, like buy a plane ticket?
No, a ticket to the event.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, how far away did high school? I thought he went to high school closer.
I work in the same district that I went to high school in.
Okay.
I'm working at my rival high school.
See, that's what I thought. But then
Yeah.
everything got thrown into question when you said bought a ticket. I'm like,
Well, yeah,
dang, I
ticket
guess
to
I
the
don't
event.
know much.
Because
Gotcha. Gotcha.
it's not like a big. We're having it at a brewery. There's probably 30 of us.
So your wife's not
'Cause-
coming?
No, she's not going.
Oh.
No.
When you say there's only 30 of you, is that there's only 30 left?
No,
Or
no.
only 30 going?
No,
Okay.
only about 30 going.
Okay.
And I mean, I was on the fence until like the very last day that they were selling tickets, anyways, just because I was looking at because they have like Facebook page, Instagram page, and they're showing everybody that's going. I'm like, okay, there's a couple people there I wouldn't mind going and talking to, and I wish some other ones were going because there's other people that I'm kind of curious about, but a lot of them can't make it. Some of them are out of the country for work and other things, and it'll be the one and only time I go. One of our classmates just passed away a week and a half ago. Another close classmate of mine that I've known for probably actually almost 40 years at this point has leukemia. So I think I'm getting a little bit sentimental and nostalgic. And this is probably the one time I'll allow myself to. So this Saturday I'll go and see people probably for the last time because I won't go to any other reunion after this.
That's
Wow.
crazy. Yeah. Hope you
Yeah.
have a good time.
Yeah.
Man. That sounds fun.
And it'll be okay. 2 hours of awkwardness around people that I haven't seen for 30 years.
I would be interested to hear your take on how and if dynamics have changed with the people that you went to high
Explain
school
what you
with.
mean by dynamic.
Well, because it's like I say dynamic. High school is very clicky, and
Yeah.
I wonder because I haven't been to a high school reunion.
Oh, it'll
Um,
still it'll still be that way. I see the group of people that are going, and
yeah,
I knew everybody. I was friendly with everybody, but I was not part of that group
Mm.
at all.
yeah,
Which which is fine. I mean, I did sports in high school. I did wrestling, baseball, and track. So I was teammates with a lot of them at some point. So we know each other. We're not part of the same groups for various reasons.
Hmm.
There's always that stereotype of, oh, I got to get in shape for my reunion, because I want, you're a little bit self conscious of how you're going to look. Well, excuse me. I've gone and I've seen how everybody looks right now. I'm like, I'm okay actually. It's been 30 years. We're all almost 50. We're all a little bit worse for wear. I'm like, I'm actually doing okay. I think I'm doing all right.
Nice.
Not great, but I'm doing okay. So
wow, that's cool.
yep. You guys
Speaking
working
of
on?
cool.
You go right into it. We
Well, I
can.
was trying to think of segues. I'm like, speaking of cool, our Patreon supporters are super cool, and we love all of them.
That's not what I thought you were going for.
I didn't. Wes is freaking out now.
I'm not ready for that.
that's
You
not
didn't give the
segue.
hand signal,
No, no,
man.
no.
We have a
No,
hand
I didn't
signal
do
for
the hand signal.
Patreon. What is wrong with you?
No, I was throwing.
What should be the hands for Patreon? Like money?
Yeah, like a money symbol, man. Come on.
No, we don't have to talk about Patreon.
Jeez Louise.
But yeah, speaking of segues, Sean, you had a really fun idea, which is honestly something we haven't done yet in
Let me
304 episodes.
Let me give like a brief little intro into this because this is not my idea. There's a podcast I've listened to for years called the Filmcast, and it's like it sounds, it's a movie podcast, and they do a summer movie wager every year. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to do with us. And if it goes well, maybe next year opening it up to our Patreon members as well, and have some fun. And it's pretty simple. It's looking at the domestic box office for the summer, going from whatever the first agreed summer movie is in May all the way through September. So the Thunderbolts actually kicks off the summer movie season. So any movie that's released in a wide release is up for picking. You pick the top 10 movies and you try to place them in order of their domestic box office gross, and then you get 2 additional picks called dark horses, which are basically like wild cards, kind of almost like a shot in the dark type thing. So Wes Donovan and I have made our picks, and we're going to kind of go through them and see how they measure up. And then in September, when the summer movie season ends, we will take a look and see what our final results are.
Yeah. So this will be part 1 of 2.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it.
And I do have to say I enjoy the fact that we are not agreed.
Yes, and that's kind of what makes it fun. It'd be kind of boring if we all had the exact same picks. And it's kind of a hard thing to do because you want to pick the movies that you want to root for, that you want to be in the top 3. But then if you really want to place high, you have to kind of take a different kind of approach by thinking is what is most likely to make the most money. It's like last year, I think it was it
Gosh, what was it?
Inside Out 2 that I think was
Oh,
the top movie. I don't have that list right now. I probably should have had that one ready.
yeah, I do have to admit, going into this, it was hard not to do like Wes was talking about and ranking these in order of ones I'd most like to see. I kept having to remind myself, it's like, no, what do I think is going to make the most money? What do I think? Okay, all right. Even if I don't want to see it, what do I think other people are going to want to see?
Yeah, and it's only for domestic too, because I mean, if it included international, it'd probably be a different Different
Yeah,
list, I'm sure, but
definitely.
yeah. So last year's number one was Inside Out 2. Uh, number two was Deadpool and Wolverine. Number three was Despicable Me 4. Then Twisters, Bad Boys Ride or Die, Keener of the Planet of the Apes, Quiet Place Day 1, It Ends With Us, If, and then The Fall Guy.
Wow.
Jeez, those feel like so long ago.
It does.
It's still
And,
surprising
and
that.
so,
Yeah, good.
before we started recording, I remember I was telling you guys that it's almost a little bit unfair because I've heard the rationale and I knew what last year's was with two kids' movies rounding out the top three, which is why I picked what I did for number one. So, you guys ready to start going through the list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
So for my for my number one, I picked the Bad Guys 2, partially because of seeing the reaction of my students to the first movie, and I think they're excited for the sequel. And then knowing last year the top two of the two of the top three movies were kids movies, I thought maybe I'll take a gamble and you figure if a family goes to see this movie, that's 3 to 4 tickets being bought, as opposed to fewer for an older person's movie. So
Okay.
that's my weird logic for picking that for number one.
That's a bold choice, sir. That's a bold choice.
It is a bold choice because there's a different one that will probably beat it out. But
I mean, the original didn't even crack 100 million, so you think that's gonna break?
I think 100 million was kind of a sleeper hit for that one. But now that more people have seen it,
Okay. Okay.
I wonder.
Yeah,
if it
think
gains
of
in.
like how many people have streamed it since then.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I know in our house we've seen it several times.
I have never seen it.
Like, really?
Nope. Yeah. This is not about movies that I'm going to go watch. I'm just picking the money here. All right, Wes, how about you?
I put my vote behind Fantastic Four: The First Steps. I think that one, as much as I wanted to put something else that I think Donovan put, because that's my personal hope. I don't. I think this one is like a make or break one for MCU. If it doesn't crack like $1 billion, I don't know. That's a stretch because I know Avengers was like $1 billion. I don't think it's $1 billion movie, but it's definitely over 500. I think because it's very anticipated, especially with some of the hype. But I don't know. They don't have very strong other MCU movies behind them, so they don't. I think they lost a lot of momentum with the Captain America and several ones before that. The Thunderbolts, it has sort of recovered from its initial. We'll talk about Thunderbolts, but it's made more in subsequent weeks than it did the first week, which is very unusual for movies. Usually they drop at least by half on the second week, and that one's.
I think people were kind of holding back.
Oh, absolutely, they were. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's kind of unusual, so that might show possible energy that's kind of hiding, waiting to come out. So yeah, that's mine. Fantastic Four.
I understand your premise. I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Because my pick was Superman, the DC reboot. Because I think it's such a different direction for the DCU as opposed to the MCU, especially with James Gunn being the head of the helm of the new wing of the DCU. I think there's going to be a lot of momentum and hype around enthroning the MCU, and that's why I picked Superman over the Fantastic Four, because I'm like I think most people have Marvel fatigue now, and there's not as cool as the trailers look for Fantastic Four, and honestly, it looks cool. Like the vibe looks really intriguing, but I think it's too little, too late, and that's gonna hurt them in the end. So
Yeah.
that's why I picked Superman as my number one.
I will say the latest trailer they released, Superman, fixed a lot of my initial issues with it. And seeing the what's his name, David Cornsweet can act, and I was impressed by that. So
Yeah, it's
if I
interesting.
had se- if I
Yeah.
yeah if I had seen that trailer before I made this list, I probably would have put it a little bit higher.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that the showdown between Fantastic Four and Superman, each one has quite a bit of baggage, box office wise. So I think it's a
For
good
different reasons too.
it's a good contest. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see how that one plays out. What's number 2?
It'd be kind of fun if they came out the same weekend.
I wish.
That would have been really interesting. All right, for second place, I had How to Train Your Dragon, the live action remake. The very first trailer, I get a very interesting view with my students because we'll watch trailers on Fridays, like in my animation class, and I watch for their reaction. And when the first trailer came out, they were all against it, like, why? Why'd they make it? It's a shot-for-shot remake. And then there's a second trailer that came out that watched, and then their tune changed. Like, oh wait, this is starting to look kind of cool. So once again, based on the premise of the last year, 2 of the top 3 movies being kids movies, I put this as number 2.
My number 2 is Jurassic World Rebirth. Not because I'm excited about it, but because the other Jurassic Worlds did kind of make a lot of money. And I think it's one of those cases of, even though I don't agree with it, I think the public will still back movies that don't deserve it. I don't necessarily think it deserves to be number 2. I didn't see the third one, to be super honest. I didn't see the third one because the second one was so bad to me. First Jurassic
Fallen
World.
Kingdom?
When you say the third one, you mean the third
of
one
the Jurassic World. Well, I mean, that could apply to
Okay.
both. The first Jurassic World, I didn't think it was horrible. I thought it was all right. I thought it was my second favorite Jurassic movie. Original Jurassic Park and then Jurassic World, I think, in that order. The second Jurassic World, I went with a friend of mine, and it was like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of thing. We were the only people in the theater, so we weren't disturbing anybody. But my goodness, they had some eye roll moments in that movie that were so painful that I didn't even give the third one a chance. I will. I'll see
Wait,
it.
was the second one the Alan? Or was that the third one?
No, it's the one that's one of the other ones. But this is the one where I think the raptor felt bad and it like shed a single tear in slow motion. I'm like, are you serious right now? No. Among other things that I had issues with. I'm not going to spend it too long on it. Jurassic World Rebirth, because I think they made a lot of money before. I think the momentum's still there. We'll see. Next.
Yeah, my number 2 pick was F1. And the reason why I did F1 is because one, the cinematography just looks absolutely amazing. But the main reason why I picked that as my second place pick is because it is not it is not a sequel to a sequel to a sequel of a reboot of a it is a new movie, and I think that's gonna be a really good. In every other movie on this list, honestly, I think it's either a sequel or a reboot. Am I right? Yep. Nope.
And
Okay, there's one other.
and
That's
it's
not a
also
sequel or a
directed
reboot.
and it's also directed by the guy that did Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah. And so I think that originality is and also just the sheer cinematic aspect of that movie is going to bring in a lot of money. So that was my number 2 pick. It was F1.
For third place, I have Fantastic Four. I think there's still going to be a lot of positive attention for this movie. I think the Thunderbolts helped serve up a nice little connecting line to the movie. And it looks interesting enough. I think that people are curious. I don't know if the fact that it comes out in July is going to hurt it in the long run. And if people are going to be kind of skeptical and wait for the first reactions. If those first reactions don't hype it enough, it might die on the vine really quickly, unfortunately. But I'm being optimistic about third place for it.
My third place is Superman. Enough said.
Okay, enough said. My third place is Mission Impossible.
Oh,
I think they've done enough really good things with the last couple Mission Impossible movies that people are going to want to see how this thing ends. If for nothing else than just the stunts, because honestly, like at this point in the Mission Impossible franchise, the stunts are the are the movie,
and the
so I think a
running.
lot of people are gonna, and yeah, and the running. So that's why I put it as my number 3.
Fourth place, I have Jurassic World Rebirth. I think it's still a huge moneymaker. Scarlett Johansson being the lead, I think is going to be attracting some new eyes, possibly. The fact that it's not Chris Pratt leading it kind of makes me happy too. And some of the more recent shots and stuff look pretty epic. I mean, whether or not you really care much about the story, just seeing massive dinosaurs is pretty cool. So
It's true.
Yeah.
They probably
It did
feel,
have
yeah.
a. I was gonna say the vibe was very OG Jurassic Park, like rather than Jurassic World.
it,
If
it
that
still
makes
needs
sense.
it still needs a sense of mystery, for whatever that's going to be. But yeah, Wes.
My selection for fourth place is How to Train Your Dragon remake or live action, whatever. That's my first kids movie in my list. Donovan?
My fourth place is Lilo and Stitch, which I don't want it to be. I don't want it to make any money. I want it to fail horribly and convince Disney to never do more of these stupid live action remakes. But it's Lilo and Stitch, which honestly, in terms of like merch alone,
Yeah,
I think is the highest grossing Disney movie just based on merch because there is so much Stitch merch in everything. Like I went to a gaming convention last weekend, and I swear every other booth was like Stitch this, Stitch Star Wars, Stitch, video games, Stitch was everywhere. And I understand that like part of that is, the hype over the movie coming out, but it has been nonstop since that movie first came out because Stitch is amazing. I love Lilo and Stitch. It's one of my favorite Disney movies. I I helped make that movie. Like I have a very close tie to that movie, which is why I want this to die. Because I'm like, just don't, please don't take something good and ruin it.
I totally could have
But
had this response. Like, if you weren't here and I had to read your list, I totally could have given the same response you just did, based on how well I think
really,
I know you. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and I knew the detail
yeah.
of you working on it. I totally would have like, yeah, I understand. I can,
It's
yeah,
funny. My wife and I had this conversation the other day because I don't have any tattoos, but I love tattoos and the idea of tattoos and things like that. And she's like, "Well, what's the closest you ever came to a tattoo?" And I was like, "Stitch." The closest I ever came to getting a tattoo would have been Stitch while I worked at Disney working on Lilo and Stitch, because that's how important that movie was to me and still is, honestly, like still is. But I know it's Disney. I know it's Stitch. It's gonna make a lot of money, unfortunately.
it is.
So I put it at number 4.
Number 5, I have Superman. I still think it's going to make a lot of money this summer. I'm hoping that there is something in the movie or some sort of tie or some sort of um, attraction that makes people want to go see it again. I would love to see it get higher than fifth place, but I think it's going to depend a little bit on people's reaction and desire to keep going back to this new universe that James Gunn is building. So I'm hoping, but fifth place is where I see it at the moment.
Should we have an over and under if you think crypto's gonna die?
Ooh,
We know
I
his
did not even think
history
about
with
that.
cute characters and animals.
I think he'll hold on to him a little bit longer.
I hope so.
It'll happen. I think if it's going to happen, I hope he holds it for a
Sequel?
future date.
Yeah,
Cosmo's the Guardians of the Galaxy dot, right?
correct.
Yeah.
And he's still alive, right?
She is still alive. Yes.
Okay. All right.
He James Gunn gender swapped her for the movies, but yeah. Yeah. Just a question.
Okay. All right. Wes, that's you.
My fifth place pick is Mission Impossible. I think that's a little higher. I think it's actually going to be lower probably now that I've looked at this list. I don't know if it's going to be fifth place because they didn't make a ton of money on the last one. They only made like 170, I think, million domestic. So it might be another one of those cases of where the sequel makes more than the first. I mean, that happened with Avengers. So it's not unheard of, but
I don't know if that's the litmus test I would use for it, but yeah.
I don't know.
For my fifth place, I put the Phoenician Scheme, because
I don't even know what that
Wes
is.
Anderson.
Ah,
It's a Wes Anderson movie, and he's been on a really good roll the last few years with the projects that he's done, and it looks so much fun. I mean, it's Wes Anderson being Wes Anderson, doing Wes Anderson, and so there's a very dynamic following for his type of movies and his type of films and whatnot, whether it's direct streaming to Netflix or in theaters. And I think that alone is going to make it to be in the top 5 for the summer.
I think that's the boldest pick of the entire list for a
Really?
summer lineup. And Wes Anderson is so hit and miss for me. Like one movie I'll like, and the other one I can't stand. So it is not consistent at all for me, but it does look interesting. In sixth place, I have Mission Impossible. I almost think it's going to probably go lower. I don't think the response to the first one was that great.
yeah.
It was a messy movie. It's a little bit convoluted. I don't know if it really had a great lead into this final part, but I'm hoping because
That's my feeling too.
if this is gonna be the last one, I do want to go out with a bang. I do want it to be successful, but it's tough given the first half.
I heard somebody make a comment that, like, if it does go out with a bang and makes a lot of money, it's going to be a John Wick situation where they're going to find a way to make the next one. Like, if it makes a lot of money, there's going to be a Final Reckoning part 3.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know if the money is a driving factor for Cruise though.
Really?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So we asked this question for Superman. Do you think he's gonna make it to the end?
Who? Superman?
Tom Cruise, is he
Ethan
going to
Hunt.
survive?
Like, is Ethan Hunt gonna make it to the end of Final?
Is it
Reckoning?
final
Do you think
because
they're
it's
gonna
final
kill
for him?
off?
Yeah.
I mean, they have the
I hope not.
new team in place, sort of, kind of like the new Avengers. Is there going to be a new Mission Impossible passing the torch? Is Ethan Hunt going to die in the end?
If I think they should take a cue from James Bond, from the last James Bond movie. And if you're gonna be bold and do it. And I'll leave it at that, just in case there's anybody that's not seen it.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what? Can you expound on that a little bit?
Okay, so if you've not seen the last James Bond movie that was made, this is a major spoiler.
That's like we're talking like 6 years ago, right? So
Has it been 6 years already? Whatever the last movie was, he dies. He dies at the end.
Oh, I didn't know that.
does he though?
Yes.
No. I kind of gave up on him, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought they got really convoluted for me, so I just stopped.
They did, but yeah. So spoiler.
Man, that must not have been that impactful because I do not remember that.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah.
Speaking of pretty good, I would not say my sixth place one is pretty good. I'm not excited for it all. The previous one I actually have never seen because I refuse to watch it. My sixth place pick is Karate Kid Legends. I did not watch the Jackie Chan one because I didn't agree with it the premise of it, so I didn't watch it. I took issue with it being kung fu and not karate. I have a feeling they're going to explain that in this one, or maybe they explained in that one. I don't know. I didn't even want to give it a shot. I didn't really care for Will Smith at the time. I don't really care for him now, and he has a lot to do with those movies. And he also has stuff to do with the reboot. I know he's a producer. I think his wife's a producer as well on the Netflix, YouTube, whatever it is now.
The Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai, yeah.
Huh.
And I wanted to like Cobra Kai. I don't think it's that good, to be honest. It's too teeny boppy for me, and I don't know. I wanted to like it. I haven't finished it. Maybe that'll change my mind, but I doubt it will. But I think that the energy behind that series will drive people to see this movie because of Ralph Macchio being in it, for sure. Is that enough for me to watch the previous one and then this one? I don't know.
Well, Ralph Macchio and Jackie Chan.
I understand.
Yeah. You those are the exact reasons why I put it at sixth place as well. You and I are agreed.
It's the first match.
First match.
Seventh place, I am deeply regretting because that's where I have Thunderbolts.
You say you're regretting because you feel like it's going to be much higher?
I think that at the very least, it'll do better than Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. So at least one place up. Given it's the first movie of the summer movie season, it's probably the first one the door gets bloodied, and it's going to get knocked. It doesn't. It's not being allowed to have as long of legs as it probably would have if it was released at a different point in the summer, possibly. It's really kind of hard to say, but I think it deserves to be higher. Although the box office might prove different with all the other movies coming out that are going to supplant it really fast, and because they've already kind of spoiled the marketing of it.
They did
probably way too soon.
They did.
They should have waited at least 2 to 3 weeks
I was
before
spoiled.
they made that switch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, at the time of recording, it's 155 million. So, according to your list, everything after that should make less than 155 million. Although it's not over yet.
horrible.
They still have some weeks left. Yes, but can they double that? Probably not. I don't know. Be interesting.
Yeah, I don't think so. And I don't think there's anything for the movie that is getting people to go back really multiple times. It's a fun movie, but it has a lot of issues too. But it's better than what Marvel's been putting out, so that's the bar that they're aiming for.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I know how Donovan feels.
My 7th place choice was Lilo and Stitch. I'm in agreement with Donovan with everything except the fact I didn't work on it, but I can relate. I'm kind of tired of these remakes. I think they're lazy. I'm starting to come around on some of this because I am realizing how important some properties are at like rebooting them to like put them in front of a new audience. They've done that since the beginning of, how many evolutions has Mickey Mouse had since he came out? You can't stay stagnant forever. I get that. All right. And more, I understand that from a different perspective than I think I used to. But I don't know if this is the proper reincarnation for it. I don't know.
So take everything you just said
Yeah.
and wrap it in How to Train Your Dragon, which is why I put it at 7th. Because I know there is a core audience for that, but I don't think it's going to be a general. I don't think there's a general audience for a live action How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
So that's why I put it at number 7.
Number 8.
Yep, almost there to the end. So 8th place, I have F1. I am head over heels for F1 in general as a sport. It's a whole family thing that we all watch. The races on every Sunday now. In November, my family and I are going to be going to one of the qualifying races in Vegas. I am extremely stoked for this movie. I'm really excited for it. But when I try to be objective for this, I think it's going to be further down on the list. F1 has a huge international audience. There's a growing audience in America, but I think that the movie's going to pale in comparison to the bells and whistles of everything else coming out during the summer. And I think it's going to knock it down just a little bit. And I know some people aren't really excited about Brad Pitt these days, especially the younger generation doesn't care as much. So, and there's a lot of, I guess, personal stuff too. But I'm looking forward to the movie. It looks fun. So, number 8.
Did you guys ever watch Ford versus Ferrari?
I love that film. I own it. I watch it like every other month.
Yeah, this gives me very Ford versus Ferrari.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Vibes.
I haven't seen it, but that's what I thought of. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic film.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8, Wes.
My number 8 is Thunderbolts. So full disclosure, I was late in submitting this form. So I already had some results of the Thunderbolts by the time this already came out. So if we want to take it off my final roster of scoring, once we're all said and done, I'm okay with that.
No, I think it's fine.
I think it's fine. All right. Well, let's slide.
The judges have ruled.
Okay, cool. Good. With the other listing items afterwards, I think it will surpass them. But yeah, I think 8th. I'm comfortable with that.
For my 8th pick, I put Final Destination's Bloodlines because I did not know where else to put Final Destination, because I know there is a huge fan base for these movies, which is why this is the 10th, 11th version of this movie.
Yeah.
Something crazy stupid.
They always make me more than I think they should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the whole marketing for this movie has been the log trucks.
Sure.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
That's all I think of
So
whenever I see
marketing.
I have never seen a Final Destination movie.
Huh?
I have never watched one.
I haven't either.
Oh, really? I saw the first one. That's it.
But I know they make money.
The log trucks, I still think of that. It's ingrained for sure.
Oh no, I think I actually have seen the first one. Never mind. Yeah. But I think that's the only one that I've seen. Because that one came out in like
1990s or something.
96?
Yeah.
Something crazy. Gosh.
I think I saw it in high school.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I put it in the top 10, but I didn't know where else to put it, so I put it in number 8.
I'm pretty sure I saw it with Catherine. We met in high school, so yeah. Maybe I should watch it with her just to complete the narrative. I'm not sure. Maybe I shouldn't, because that would complete the other narrative. Maybe that's the reason not to watch it. I don't know.
Number 9, I picked Elio, which is the new Pixar film coming out. Only because it's Pixar, not because I have a lot of faith in the film. I think there's only one out of the last 4 Pixar films I've actually liked, and that Inside Out 2. Pixar's gotten a little bit weird for me, unfortunately. And maybe it just, I've gotten old and not connected to the same stuff anymore, but yeah. Number 9.
My number 9 is The Naked Gun. I think there might be a space for it just because people haven't seen that franchise in a while, and I think they might like to revisit it, even though I'm sure it's going to be completely different. I think the nostalgia will bring them in.
I kind of had that same thought process for my number 9, which is why I put The Toxic Avenger. Because it's a very niche fan base for The Toxic Avenger. But considering the other, I see Toxic Avenger kind of like I see Deadpool as an anti-superhero kind of movie, where people who are tired of superhero movies would go to watch this to make fun of superhero movies. And I think there's enough people that would want that kind of movie that it would put Toxic Avenger in the top 10 for the summer. So that's why I put it at number 9.
And on to our final place before the Dark Horses. 10th place, I picked Final Destination Bloodlines, mainly because I know that the teenage and early 20s audience like these types of films. I know that a lot of my students have already gone to go see it, and they just kind of like that sort of thing. So I think there's a chance that it could kind of like bring up the rear end here.
And that is the second match I think we've had in the listing, as I also have Final Destination Bloodlines for 10th place.
And mine, for all the reasons that I think Sean and Wes already talked about when it comes to Jurassic World, I put it at the bottom of the list because I think there's just as cool as it looks, as unique as it looks. I don't think there's enough interest.
Wow,
in people-
Toxic Avenger before Jurassic World.
That's bold, man.
Mhm.
That is bold. That is
Yeah.
bold.
Fortune favors
Time
the
will
bold.
tell.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
So the last two picks are dark horses. So for anybody listening, these are almost like wild cards where you kind of like one final chance to get a movie into the top 10 and just don't really have an idea where it might place, but you have a good feeling that it could kind of upset something. So dark horse number one that I picked is a movie called Weapons. It is a creepy little movie about kids that wake up in the middle of the night and go run somewhere. I forget the entire premise, but it's a creepy looking movie if you go watch the trailer. And I know that there's enough of an audience that likes that kind of thing that it could make some money at the box office.
My dark horse number one is Elio from Pixar. I don't know if I'll be interested in going to see it, to be honest, but someone will.
Yeah, mine. I know it's gonna make money because Blumhouse. They're very good at making low budget, high box office numbered movies, which is why I put Megan 2.0 as my dark horse one pick.
Did you watch the first one?
No. But I know a lot of people did.
Yeah, a lot of people did. There's that one creepy dance scene got a lot of people going to watch, which is it's just weird.
Man, that could almost be a topic in and of itself because I swear, like dance scenes are becoming parts of movies where I didn't expect dance scenes to be such like in the cultural zeitgeist of modern entertainment.
Well, dance scenes have always been, but it's the creepy and weird and offsetting dance scene that is now doing it.
I don't know. Andor season 2 dance scene. I was like, this is gonna be a thing now, isn't it? This is totally gonna be a thing now.
Well, I'll have to look out for it now because I haven't seen the season yet. So.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I got homework.
Yeah.
Okay. I just finished watching Daredevil Born Again, so now I'll start that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, we have conversations for, the next month.
We do.
All right, and so the final movie on the list for the Dark Horse number 2, I picked The Naked Gun. I have a lot of faith in this movie to make money. I think it might be the only real comedy that we even have in the list, and I think we actually kind of need that sort of thing. I watched the trailer, and I laughed my ass off. I thought it was funny, and it's probably like our generation funny. I don't think the younger generation is going to care, but I showed it to my wife, and I haven't seen her laugh that hard in a long time. So we're actually going to make a date night out of it. So
I don't think
simply just for that.
I don't think Catherine's seen it yet, the trailer, so that'll be interesting. I'll show it to her.
I thought it was funny.
Okay. My dark horse number 2 is F1. I'm not sure if it'll make.
You didn't know where else to put it?
Yeah, I didn't know where else to put it. I don't know. I think F2 will make more money when it comes out, but I think F1 will be good there. I know F4. F4, is Fantastic Four, as we all know.
You guys know there's an actual F2, right? There's actually racing categories. So there's F1, which is the
Of course,
top tier.
of course I know. That's
Yeah,
why I
that's why I
listed
thought
it.
he said it.
What are you talking about?
Just making sure, because if they do actually make a sequel to F1, they can't really call it F2.
Why?
It's gonna be kind of weird for them.
F squared or something. I don't know. These people name
Sure.
stuff all dumb things, man. They're at the point now where they'll name a movie one thing, and then a week later they'll rename it to something else. So who knows?
Yeah, there are no bounds.
Yeah. Or we'll get like a
Yeah,
live,
'cause
die,
it's
rinse,
not
repeat, or
Thunderbolts
whatever.
anymore. It's the new Avengers.
Well, I guess it's open enough. It's not a spoiler, so. I
Well,
hope.
that's like, yeah, you were talking about spoiling it in the marketing. That's all the marketing is right now. So, phew.
Yep.
Anyways, my dark horse number 2, because I know the pull of, little girls being interested in movies. Gabby's Dollhouse.
I wasn't sure how the phrasing.
even
of that
know
was
what that
gonna
is.
finish. Okay.
It's a toy made into a movie kind of movie.
Like another horror thing.
It's like, no, like Polly Pocket, Barbie.
I thought it was like a Chucky thing.
No,
I thought so
no.
too.
Okay.
No, Gabby. Hey, Gabby. Hey, Gabby. You guys don't have little girls. That's okay.
I've heard of that. But
Yeah.
We do have little girls, but they're not.
Little...
No, I know you
toddlers
don't
are
have young girls. Yeah. It's like if I say a Blue reference, it's probably a reference that goes over your head because you don't have it on in the background 17 hours a day.
Speaking of toys and movies, have you guys seen any of the behind the scenes pics for the He-Man movie that's filming right now?
I've seen the
No.
thumbnails,
We'll
but I
have to-
haven't watched them. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to pencil that in for a future episode.
Yes, please.
Excuse me.
That could be my homework. Going watching behind the scenes.
I'll
There have
I'll
been a
post some
couple
I'll post some
times.
links.
Yeah.
I'll post links. So that is our list, our first ever, after 7 years of doing the podcast, or however long it's been,
Wow.
of a summer movie wager.
That's
So,
surprising.
I know. We'll be looking back on that in September once the results are in, and kind of see who gets to wear the summer movie wager crown.
Will it be a popcorn bucket?
I think we should actually physically make something
Yeah.
and do that. So
I agreed.
We can
I think
almost,
Donovan volunteered.
I think we should have a whole episode on the popcorn bucket phenomenon. We haven't talked about that at all.
I think we should. Have you guys ever bought one?
I've not.
I can never get one. They're already gone by the time I even get to the movies.
Interesting. Yeah. We should talk about that.
We'll have to add that to our spreadsheet. We haven't touched that in a while.
Speaking of not touching that for a while, I'd like to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks.
I love our segue.
I think Sean's about to pass out.
I was prepping for a different segue, but that's even better.
Oh, we'd like to thank our top patrons. We have a new top patron. If I had an alarm right now, I'd sound it. But our top patron is Scott Bond. Hey, we found an alarm.
Hey, the
Sorta.
soundboard.
Soundboard, hey, Scott, you are our top patron. You edged out. Phrasing is bad tonight. The next person behind you, which is Jordan, and then Square Splinter, and How I Do It. I held it together so well. You guys are our top patrons. You guys rock, but all the other patrons, you are special too. Don't let just because we shout out the top patrons, get you down. We love every one of you. We like to see you guys post in our exclusive Discord. And if you have any interest in a new gaming server, if there's a new game that has PC servers, we have the capability, I have the technology to set that up. If we want to spin up another Minecraft server because to take advantage of all the updates that have come out, we have these perks available. Let us know. Become a free member of Patreon, and you could probably still get in some of these perks. I never said you had to pay. They have a free tier now. That might be a loophole. I don't know. I'm just saying. Thank you guys so much for your support. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
Any of you guys are specifically geeking out about this week?
Yeah. I don't know if this could be another topic later on. I think it'll warrant one as time goes on. But there was an announcement, I think it's a few weeks ago at this point, about a new car or vehicle that has piqued my interest. So those of you that know me for a while, you know that I drive a Honda Element. It's a 2006 Element, and I've had it for a long time. I haven't had it since it was brand new, but I've had it probably, it feels like 20 years. It's a lot of years. It's at least 15 years old. And I love the thing. It's very, you can transform it. You can adjust the back seats. You can take the back seats out. I have a Transformer logo on the front and the back. I replaced the H from the Honda on the front and the back of my car with a Transformer logo because I think it is that much of a Transformer. It was a dark horse when it came out. A lot of people, including myself, thought it was ugly. I could do a whole episode on the Honda Element, but I won't. The thing that I'm excited about now is something called the Slate. So it's an electric vehicle. It is a truck. It's a new company. They have some kind of big name backers, which I don't necessarily agree with all the backers, including Jeff Bezos, but that's fine. It is a platform. They're doing a unique kind of approach. They're doing one car model, this one truck model, I should say, to keep costs down. That's kind of their angle, is that they're taking like a minimalist approach to automobile manufacturing, where they'll have one production line and then they'll have add-ons that are added by them. I think there's an upcharge for like these add-on kind of features. So for example, the Slate, it's basically, they call it a blank slate because it's sort of a platform for upgrades if you wish, or you can keep it cheap. It's a brand new car that's going to have window handles to roll up and down the windows. That's kind of weird. It doesn't have a giant infotainment screen in the dash. They're like, you have your own infotainment screen with your own music. It's called your phone. Just use your phone. And that's what they're going to go with. So they're making a lot of interesting choices, but there's a lot of customization afterwards. That they have this whole website builder that you can choose different features. You can make it a 5-seater. You can add seats to the back. You can add like a roll cage kind of open air thing like a Jeep in the back. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can wrap it in different, wraps. It comes as default of one color. It's gray, but you can get any color you want. They haven't released the pricing for these add-ons. I imagine that's where they're going to make their money. It's supposed to be $20,000 after incentives if those still exist when the car comes out, which is supposed to be at the end of 2026, but we'll see. I think it's interesting because they have explicitly said that they're going to support the DIY side of car enthusiasts, including 3D printing. They said all their different add-ons are going to be open sourced, and they're going to release the models for them. And so that could be a whole avenue of makers. I want to make a video asking, is this the most maker-friendly vehicle to come out? Just because they're embracing that sort of ethos, which a lot of other companies are, the right to repair is a whole thing that we've talked about ad nauseum. But I think some other companies are coming around. There are some appliance manufacturers that are starting to release 3D models. I think Philips, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I was actually impressed by it. Like, finally.
Yeah, they're releasing the models for different things, that instead of throwing your razor away when different parts break, if you can 3D print the little pieces, they want you to do that. And I know it's kind of spurred on by the EU. I think they want to release or reduce landfill, sizes, I guess, over the time. That's a whole other conversation. I digress. Going back to the thing, my pick is Slate. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. They have some fun videos. Their marketing on Instagram is very unique. Check it out. Let me know what you think.
I'm geeking out about Light and Magic season 2, season 3, whatever the latest season is that came out, which is the kind of like the behind the scenes and documentary style show about Industrial Light and Magic. The latest season, which with the way that it ended, seems like it's the last season. Like they're not going to make any more seasons. There's only 3 episodes the entire season, and the last episode made me cry, and it pissed me off. And if you'd like to be part of the conversation, go watch it, and you could, hit me up online, because it hit me a little bit. I was very, very saddened by that last episode. Yeah. Anybody that knows me, go watch it, and you'll know exactly why.
I like books, and I don't always like adaptations of books into movies and TV shows, because I always compare them to the books. But that said, I have always really liked the book series Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. I still remember the first time I read it, because I'm like, I don't understand anything that's going on. So I had to reread it again, and then I reread it again, and it's become one of my favorite books. There's a TV series by the same name, Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, with Elijah Wood, and it is fantastic. It is very entertaining. It is much easier to follow than the books, yet still warps your mind a little bit, because there's time travel involved. There's all kinds of stuff. It's good times all around. So if you haven't seen it yet, and especially if you've read the books, then definitely go watch it. I think the second book is called Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul, or something crazy like that. But good books, good show. Go watch it. That's what I'm geeking out about.
That about wraps up the show. If you'd like to catch up with any of us, you can catch up with us on any of our social medias. Donovan, you are at Geek Dad DIY.
Geek Dad DIY.
We got Mr. Swain at Geeksmithing, and you can find any of my stuff under Geek Builders. That's about it for this week. Hope you have a great week.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Yep.
See you guys.
See everybody.
Take care.
I had to burp so bad. I'm sorry. I was like, ugh.
I couldn't hold back some coughs that were going on. So at the very